Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. It is that time again, time to talk about some brand new horror book releases. So get that TBR ready because I know you're going to want to add a lot of these to it. Be sure you let me know at the end of the video which of these you end up adding to your TBR. I would love to know. As for me personally, I would really like to read all of these this month, which is a first for me. Most of the time during these most anticipated videos, after doing the video, I can knock off a few or half or most of the books that just don't sound appealing to me, but they might appeal to you, which is why I include them in these videos. I want to give you as much variety as possible. This month, however, all of them sound really fantastic, which is bad for my TBR, honestly. So what's on the agenda today? Well, I have 12 books to tell you about. There's one middle grade, one short story collection, and 10 adult novels to get you in the mood for summer, because actually 4 of these stories take place on an island or coastal setting. There are 2 debut novels on this list, which sound pretty great, and 1 story is set in outer space, which sounds really bizarre, but I'm really looking forward to reading it. So grab that beach towel and let's see what's new in May 2022. These first 3 stories all came out on May 3rd. The first one is the middle grade story, and it is one of the ones that take place on an island, and that is Monsters in the Mist by Juliana Brandt. This is from Sourcebooks Young Readers, and it is about 320 pages. When Glennon McHugh's father takes an overseas position, Glennon finds himself relocated from Minneapolis to his uncle's lighthouse on Isle Philippou. I don't know how you say that. Smack dab in the middle of Lake Superior, surrounded by nothing but black and ominous waters. The place is frightening, and becomes even more so when a storm rocks the island and a ship wrecks outside the lighthouse. Even worse, the survivors are terrified to learn they've washed up on the Phantom Isle. There are many stories about Isle Philippou. Sailors wash ashore and are never seen again. Suddenly, Glennon finds himself in the middle of a real-life ghost story, and unless he can figure out the mystery of the island, he and his family will be lost forever too. I really would like to check this one out. I really don't read middle grade novels, but some of them sound really fantastic, and this is one of them. I love the cover of this. The premise sounds really cool, and who doesn't love a ghost story on an island? Up next, we have The Hacienda by Isabel Canas. It is released from Berkeley, comes in at about 352 pages. If you're like me, I don't like to read long stories. The perfect story length for me is 300 pages or less. So that's why I like to include the page count for these books and tell you the publisher, because you know what you're getting into. In the overthrow of the Mexican government, Beatrice's father is executed and her home destroyed. When handsome Don Rodolfo proposes, Beatrice ignores the rumors surrounding his first wife's sudden demise, choosing instead to seize the security his estate in the countryside provides. She will have her own home again, no matter the cost. But Hacienda San Isidro is not the sanctuary she imagined. When Rodolfo returns to work in the capital, visions and voices invade Beatrice's sleep. The weight of invisible eyes follows her every move. Rodolfo's sister, Juana, scoffs at Beatrice's fears. But why does she refuse to enter the house at night? Beatrice only knows 2 things for certain. Something is wrong with the hacienda, and no one there will help her. Desperate for help, she clings to the young priest, Padre Andres, as an ally. No ordinary priest, Andres will have to rely on his skills as a witch to fight off the malevolent presence haunting the hacienda and protect the woman for whom he feels a powerful, forbidden attraction. But even he might not be enough to battle the darkness. Far from a refuge, San Isidro may be Beatrice's doom. So this is described as Mexican Gothic meets Rebecca, and it is a debut novel as well. So there are actually 3 3 debuts on here. I didn't realize this one was one of them. The last one that came out on May 3rd is called The Exorcist's House from Nick Roberts. It is published by Crystal Lake Publishing, and it is about 286 pages. So this one sounds really, really, really good. In the summer of 1994, psychologist Daniel Hill buys a rustic farmhouse nestled in the rolling hills of West Virginia. Along with his wife Nora and their teenage daughter Alice, the family uproots their lives in Ohio and moves south. At first, they are seduced by the natural beauty of the farm and enjoy the bonding experience of fixing the old house. But that all changes when they discover a hidden room in the basement with a well boarded shut and adorned with crucifixes. Local legends about the previous owner's predilection for performing exorcisms comes to light, but by then, all hell has broken loose. This sounds so good, super creepy. I cannot wait to check this one out. So this next one came out on May 7th. It is called Your Mind is a Terrible Thing by Hailey Piper. It's from Off Limits Press, and it is about 198 pages long, so it is pretty short and right up my alley, lengthwise. Communications specialist Alto's shift aboard the starship MG Yellowjacket turns hellish after waking from a tryst to learn every crewmate has vanished. Worse, a sinister presence has crawled aboard the ship. It's violent, destructive, and it can reach into your thoughts to make you see and feel what it wants. Anxiety-ridden Alto might be the least qualified person to face a creature that can hack minds like computers. Only a perilous journey to the ship's bridge can reunite comm specialists with crew and give them a chance to call for help. But the intruder only scratches the surface of this crisis, and discovering the truth will bring Alto face to face against a nightmare beyond flesh and thought. These next 3 books all came out on May 10th. The first one is the short story collection called Dark Stars. It is edited by John F.D. Taff, and it includes 12 stories from Taff, as well as Josh Mallerman, Stephen Graham Jones, Alma Katsu, and a few others. It is about 368 pages long and comes from Nightfire. So within these pages, you'll find tales of dead men walking, an insidious secret summer fling, an island harboring unspeakable power, and a dark hallway that beckons. The next one is our second debut from this list. It is called Friend of the Devil by Stephen Lloyd. It is about 240 pages, and it comes from G.P. Putnam's Sons. It's the 1980s, and Sam Gregory, a substance-abusing war veteran turned insurance investigator, arrives at the galactically elite Danforth Putnam boarding school off the coast of New England to find a stolen manuscript of incalculable value. He soon senses that something far stranger than missing books is afoot, and when students begin vanishing from campus, he realizes how serious it is. At the same time, a reporter is keeping an eye on Sam. Harriet, a physically fragile but spiritually indomitable writer for the school paper, is trying to figure out precisely what he's up to. As events at the school become increasingly terrifying, Sam and Harriet both venture into increasingly dark territory to crack the mystery. In the end, they uncover a truth more horrible than they could have imagined. The last one that came out on May 10th is Hidden Pictures from Jason Rekulak. It is from Flatiron Books, and it is about 384 pages. So this is a story we've all heard before. It is about a young woman who is hired to babysit this kid who seems normal at first, but then he starts drawing pictures that are increasingly more disturbing and more well drawn. Mallory begins to suspect these are glimpses of an unsolved murder from long ago, perhaps relayed by a supernatural force lingering in the forest behind the Maxwell's house. With help from a handsome landscaper and an eccentric neighbor, Mallory sets out to decipher the images and save Teddy, the young boy, while coming to terms with a tragedy in her own past before it's too late. So we have two books that came out on May 17th. The first one being Just Like Mother by Heltzel. It comes from Nightfire and it is 320 pages long. The last time Maeve saw her cousin was the night she escaped the cult they were raised in. For the past 2 decades, Maeve has worked hard to build a normal life in New York City where she keeps everything and everyone at a safe distance. When Andrea suddenly reappears, Maeve regains the only true friend she's ever had. Soon she's spending more time at Andrea's remote Catskills estate than in her own cramped apartment. Maeve doesn't even mind that her cousin's wealthy work friends clearly disapprove of her single lifestyle. After all, Andrea has made her fortune in the fertility industry. Baby fever comes with the territory. The more Maeve immerses herself in Andrea's world, the more disconnected she feels from her life back in the city. And the cousin's increasing attachment triggers memories Maeve has fought hard to bury. But confronting the terrors of her childhood may be the only way for Maeve to transcend the nightmares still to come. This next one is called The Island by Adrian McKinty, who also wrote The Chain. I've not read that, but I have it. Hopefully I can read it soon. And this one comes from Little Brown and Company, and it is 384 pages long and is already set to become a Hulu series. So let's see what this one's about. After moving from a small country town to Seattle, Heather Baxter marries Tom, a widowed doctor with a young son and teenage daughter. A working vacation overseas seems like the perfect way to bring the new family together, but once they're deep in the Australian outback, the jet-lagged and exhausted kids are so over their new mom. When they discover a remote Dutch island, off limits to outside visitors, the family talks their way onto the ferry, taking a chance on an adventure far from the reach of iPhones and Instagram. But as soon as they set foot on the island, which is run by a tightly knit clan of locals, everything goes wrong. Then a shocking accident propels the Baxters from an unsettling situation into an absolute nightmare. When Heather and the kids are separated from Tom, they are forced to escape alone, seconds ahead of their pursuers. Now it's up to Heather to save herself and the kids, even though they don't trust her. The harsh bushland is filled with danger and the locals want her dead. Heather has been underestimated for her entire life, but she knows that only she can bring her family home again and become the mother the children desperately need, even if it means doing the unthinkable to keep them all alive. So we only have one coming out on May 24th. That is called Hide from Kiersten White. It's from Del Rey and it is 256 pages long, so this is a pretty short one too. The challenge: spend a week hiding in an abandoned amusement park and don't get caught. The prize: enough money to change everything. Even though everyone is desperate to win, to seize their dream futures or escape their haunting pasts, Mac feels sure that she can beat her competitors. All she has to do is hide, and she's an expert at that. It's the reason she's alive and her family isn't. But as the people around her begin disappearing one by one, Mac realizes this competition is more sinister than even she imagined, and that together might be the only way to survive. 14 competitors, 7 days, everywhere to hide, but nowhere to run. The final 2 books for this list come out on May 31st, the last day of the month, and they are both island, tropical, coastal settings. So, the first one is called Black Tide by Casey Jones. It's from Tor Nightfire, and it is also 256 pages. It was just another day at the beach, and then the world ended. Mike and Beth didn't know each other existed before the night of the meteor shower. A melancholy film producer and a house sitter barely scraping by. Chance made them neighbors. A bottle of champagne brought them together, and a shared need for human connection sparked something more. After a drunken and desperate one-night stand, the 2 strangers awake to discover a surprise astronomical event has left widespread destruction in its wake. But the cosmic light show was only a part of something much bigger and far more terrifying. when a set of lost car keys leaves them stranded on an empty stretch of Oregon coast, when their emergency calls go unanswered and inhuman screams echo from the dunes, when the rising tide reaches for the car and unspeakable horrors close in around them, these two self-destructive souls must find in each other the strength to overcome past pain and the fight to survive a nightmare of apocalyptic scale. The last book on this list is called Deep Water by Emma Bamford. It is from Gallery Scout Press and it is 320 pages long. And this is also a debut novel. So when a Navy vessel comes across a yacht in distress in the middle of the vast Indian Ocean, Captain Daniel Tengu orders his ship to rush to its aid. On board the yacht is a British couple, a horribly injured man, Jake, and his traumatized wife, Virginie, who breathlessly confesses, "It's all my fault. I killed them." Trembling with fear, she reveals their shocking story to Daniel. Months earlier, the couple had spent all their savings on a yacht full of excitement for exploring the high seas and exotic lands together. They start at the busy harbors of Malaysia, and through word of mouth, Jake and Virginie learn about a tiny isolated island full of unspoiled beaches. When they arrive, they discover they are not the only visitors and quickly become entangled with a motley crew of expat sailors. Soon, Jake and Virginie's adventurous dream turns into a terrifying nightmare. Now, it's up to Daniel to determine just how much truth there is in Virginie's alarming tale. But when his crew make a shocking discovery, he realizes that if he doesn't act soon, they could all fall under the dark spell of the island. So those are the 12 brand new horror books that I thought you should know about. And I, like I said, would really like to read all 12 of these, which is a first. I'm so looking forward to checking at least some of them out at some point. It won't be anytime soon, but definitely let me know which of these appeal to you, which is already on your TBR. Have you read any of these already? Let me know down in the comments, and let me know if any of these are worth my time. I would love to know. Since this video is coming out towards the end of May, there's only like a week left by the time you are watching this. I'm probably going to go ahead and do the June releases next week, just to back to back get it over with, let you know what's coming up before they release. I'm so sorry this video was late. It has just been one of those months where I got behind a week and that's thrown everything off a week, but better late than never, right? If you enjoy these videos, please consider giving me a like, a thumbs up. It really would help me out and would let me know if you really like these videos or not. I think you do. These are my most viewed types of videos, and I really enjoy learning about these new releases and spreading the word about them. Also, if you are not a subscriber yet, what are you waiting for? If you have seen at least 2 of my videos, why not go ahead and subscribe? It would really help me out as well, and I would really appreciate it. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.